Hello and welcome to Aussie Indian. And I have one of the very well-known personalities from India attending the Australia-India Literature International Forum, Mr. Girish Karnad. Girish Karnad, welcome to Aussie Indian.
Thank you very much.
Is this your first visit to Sydney?
Very much. First visit to Australia, in fact. And I'm sorry, it's my first visit. I wish I'd come earlier.
We have put on a great weather for you to start
Yes,
with.
I know, it's terrific.
You did mention too in your speech.
Beautiful. I mean, and it's the kind of weather you don't get in South India. So
I know.
the cool sun, bright sun.
Of course, we remember you from the days of Samskara when it hit the headlines. You mentioned about it in your speech also.
Yeah.
Is it something that is sort of a turning point in your career?
Yes, indeed. And it's also a turning point in my connections with Australia because it was photographed by Tom Coven, who was the photographer. At that time, he had made no feature film. He was just wandering around. This was in the 60s when being like the flower children was in fashion. And he was there in some the artist colony in Madras and so on. And he shot the film, and he shot the film without any money, and he was there for a whole month with us. And the film was banned initially for various political reasons, and then became won the President's Gold Medal.
Yes.
And it's something of a landmark for what it done in photography. And Tom has a very important place in Indian cinematographic history. So that's my connection with Australia to begin with.
Right. Well, when your Anantmurthy wrote that script, the story, it was very controversial in Karnataka. And in fact, it came out as a movie which everyone said shouldn't be seen. But do you think that the Indian cinema has grown out of it now?
Grown out of in what sense?
Well, those controversies, and they are prepared.
No, controversies carry on. That is now, of course, Samskara is accepted as something of a classic, the book, and so is the film. And so no one worries about it. But other controversies come, and they come and go. Mm-hmm. India, as you know, is a controversial place, and people are claiming to get hurt all the time. But that goes on. Of course.
Do you still have a passion for writing?
I have a passion for writing. I still write plays. I'm basically a playwright, and I write plays and just keep writing plays. I can't do films. It requires too much energy. I'm too old to direct a film. So, yes, I write, and I've just written a play, and it's been fun.
Do you write only in Kannada and English, or do you write in other languages?
God, that's bad enough. I'm in Kannada and then translating it into English or writing it into English. Writing a play itself is a very demanding job. It's not easy. It's a very difficult art form. Mm-hmm. And I've done it. And yes, I write in Kannada first usually and then translate it into English.
And we not only we saw you in Kannada films, but nowadays we are seeing you in Bollywood films as well, Hindi films as well.
No, I actually did most of my work in Bollywood films, mainly not because I liked it, but because it was good money in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Very forgettable films, but very unforgettable money. Mm-hmm. So I did. Now I have done a Bollywood film, Ekta Tiger, which has been a huge success.
Yes. So is there more coming in from Bollywood industry?
It's not normal for Bollywood to ask someone who's outside. I live in Bangalore. But Ekta Tiger, when I asked the director, why have you cast me? He said, well, the film will run or not run on Salman Khan's name. So I can cast anyone I like for the other roles. So that's it. So other people may or may not. If they like the role, they may cast me. It depends on them.
You're a writer and you're a play. You do the dramas and also now in Bollywood films and Kannada films. If I ask you to put a finger on your most passionate work, what would that be?
I'm a playwright. I'm basically a playwright. There's no question at all. If I had the choice, if I didn't have to make money, I would have been a playwright all my life. But you have to. The money is good in films. One can't grumble about that. So.
How did you get into this Australia-India Literature's International
Forum? I just got a letter from Rudula saying, would you like to come? And I said, I have not been to Australia and this is it, so let me go. So
And how important a role do you think this will play, the exchange of these kinds of literary figures between Australia and India in improving the relations between India and Australia?
Well, it's a beginning. It can go on. It's we are writers are intellectuals. They can shape the intellectual atmosphere, and therefore, getting to know each other, can help. Like it's not just writers. Like Tom Coven, as something of a legend in Kannada film history. And that kind of involvement does help in the longer run. I mean, and we are not talking of kind of diplomatic connections, but cultural connections. And that will depend on films going across, films being made, books going across, book being translated, read. Patrick White, for instance, I know Alexis Wright, who is here, whom I was delighted to meet. He's a great writer. Peter Carey. One knows these Australian writers because they've been very good writers.
Of course. Many of our, especially people from Karnataka as well as generally from India, look up to you as their hero. What would be your message to them, Mr. Girish Karnad?
Don't. Don't have heroes. Do what you want to do, and that's it.
Girish Karnad, thanks for talking to us, Indian.
Thank you.
I am really grateful.